We're TMAC. We help businesses make better decisions faster. We specialize in delivering artificial intelligence and machine learning solutions quickly, but to a high standard in customer engagement, marketing, customer service, and coaching. We believe that everything has been done before and that it can be done quickly. So, if you're tired of being told to wait whilst also being overcharged, visit our website at tmac.ai/vid for more information.
Hi, I'm Alon from TMAC. I'm head of marketing, and I'm joined here today by Jimmy Hosang, our CEO, and Sean Northam, our CCO. We recently celebrated our 3-year anniversary of founding TMAC, and we thought it was a perfect time to come together and just talk a little bit more about the story of TMAC and how it all started. Welcome, Jimmy and Sean. Shall we kick off by having a little story of background of what you guys were doing before TMAC and how you came to meet each other?
Yeah, sounds good. So pretty much bar a few kind of pub jobs and working in Sainsbury's on a till. My background has been contact centres through kind of leaving education. So started in contact centres, mainly in operational roles, taking calls, being a team leader, working in learning development and kind of operational roles. But probably after that, and where kind of most of my career has now been spent, is working in kind of change and transformation. So my background is pretty much Lean Six Sigma, so I love removing some waste in processes, but I've worked across people, process, systems and digital transformation programs over the last 10 years.
I've been working in data science and analytics for about 12 years. Before that, I was a bit of a failed actor and a failed bartender, failed painter and decorator. Everything I turned my hand to turned to shit, and then I ended up kind of getting into programming, kind of by accident. Worked across like a lot of different sectors, working in credit risk, in sort of subprime lending during the banking crisis was quite interesting, and then working through kind of analytics over the last 10 years has changed so much that that eventually, like, I ended up working in contact centers, working in contact center transformation and becoming more of a specialist in how you deploy analytics within a contact center setting, and then eventually like mine and Sean's paths crossed.
Okay, and tell us a little bit more about, I'm sure there's plenty of detail you're going to go in about each other and what you've learned, but tell us a little bit about how you met and how that relationship formed to become the beginning of TMAC.
Yeah, so the journey probably started,
The love affair.
let's just call it a journey for now. The journey started probably about 5 years ago. So we both used to work for a company called Webhelp, who were an outsourcer. So I was running a digital transformation program, and Jimmy was running the analytics team on the same contract. So yeah, we met. I think personalities got on straight away. But I think one of the things that kind of probably brought us together in terms of where we are today were we were great at landing change, but we were great at doing change in a slightly different way to what we were seeing in kind of business and what we'd done previously. So, you know, not only we were delivering lasting sustainable change, but we were doing it in the right way. So everything we did was kind of data driven, which not many people were doing at the time. It was very still gut feel says this, low hanging fruit over there, but it was never kind of given the kind of experience we wanted. So we'll always be able to baseline, we'll always be able to size what we do, we always delivered, and we'd always be able to show an uplift in terms of what we delivered. So it kind of started on a bit of we were just great at getting to the outcomes we were trying to get after. I think would be the fair thing to say. Jimmy, would you agree?
Yeah, so I think up until probably meeting Sean, I would think I was probably like about 50-50 from like the work that I'd done. Like, I think I've got a relatively decent reputation about turning around insight and making my bosses look good most of the time. But there was still something around how do you land change and how do you land analytical, like analytical kind of vision in like an actual setting. And why like Sean is the perfect foil for me is that he took some of the crazy stuff that I'd been thinking, and landed it in terms of a sales message, but actually then landed it as part of a change program. And that's why I think that we complement each other so much.
Obviously, you both have worked together for quite a while now on quite a few different pitches. Do you think you could both describe each other in 3 words only? So I'm going to go to Sean first.
Supportive, stubborn, innovative.
Nice, very measured. Jimmy?
Charismatic and excitable.
What's the worst habit or the most annoying thing you found out about each other in the past 3 years?
I think Jimmy thinks he's my big brother. We've got a brotherly love rather than being twins. He's my big brother.
I do think of you like my brother. So Sean has got like a list of like phrases that he missays. So one of them is, "This is a bit of a moving beast." The more I correct him on it, because I'm like, Sean, this isn't a moving beast, isn't a thing. He just doubles down on it and he just says it more and more. And he finds new innovative ways to slot it into a conversation. And so, yeah, if I had to pick, there's not a lot of things that annoys me about him, but that's definitely one of them.
If you could replace each other with a famous business partner, who would it be?
I really struggle with like comparing Sean to anybody else. I don't think I could replace him, but just thinking of like permatan dictator must be someone like Donald Trump. Maybe like obviously Sean's got all of his own hair, but yeah, I think me and Donald would have like a very similar dynamic to me and Sean.
Follow on from that one, Sean.
I was going to be really kind as well and say Steve Jobs because of his innovation and creative flair, but also because he wears turtlenecks pretty much every other day at the moment as well. So it kind of fitted quite well. I was hoping he'd have it on today, but he hasn't.
So tell us a little bit more about how, after you guys met, like what was the driver to take the decision to actually make the jump and start a company together?
So it's a bit of a funny story that then leads into more of a serious story, actually. So I always remember when we're probably having a beer on some cold Wednesday night in Manchester or something like that, or Sheffield, probably when we were working then. So Jimmy was talking to me more around how he wanted to write a book. And the book was going to be called the Modular Analytics Cookbook. He was very proud of, most things in analytics have always been done before. So how can we create a repeatable process and kind of take that out to the mass market? To which I probably then said, that sounds like a fantastic idea, but you're a terrible writer. Why don't we actually take that concept and build a business around it? And then henceforth started the Modular Analytics Company. So based on kind of Jimmy's idea around how you kind of take analytics to the mass market, make it more accessible for more people more of the time, but driven by outcomes from the kind of experience that we'd had at working together, it just felt like a really interesting thing to start. And that was probably it, right? We both had full-time jobs at the start. We both did this at the side of our desks. But I think when we started, the premise of who we were and what we were all about was an outcome-based consultancy. So we wanted to kind of be agnostic. So we both had good experience of working with digital technology and analytics tools. We knew the market. We knew how to kind of use these tools to the best. But what we started to realize is that the technology was prohibitively costly. It cost a lot of money. We couldn't actually get people to the ROIs they were looking to get to because of the technology, the way it was deployed, the agility wasn't there in terms of what the client actually wanted. And it just wasn't great for us as an outcome-based consultancy because we couldn't actually get clients to the outcomes they wanted because there were so many layers of complexity involved. So we then started to talk more to two of our founders, which are George and Roos. George from a data science background, Roos from a product background. And then we started to realize, you know what? The best way for us to move forward in this kind of industry, in this space, was to create our own enablers. And that's all they were at that time. They were enablers, which were technology products, which can help us get to the outcomes that we need to, given the cost back to clients, helping us unlock the kind of ROI that we went after. So we were an outcome-based consultancy. Probably from the outside right now, we're probably turning more into a product or an IT business. But deep down in the heart of who we are, I still think we're an outcome-based business, but we've got the right enablers to help clients get to the right outcomes.
I got quite emotional then. I hear us talking about this all of the time, but sometimes like you're just hearing and you're not listening. So and just listening to from us having that beer and getting carried away with ourselves to like coming to today, it's like it's been a proper journey, and I do think like it's you can define yourselves as a consultancy or a product company, a SaaS company, an IT company. I think, and so many people want to define you as something, and that's not how I define us. Like as a group of people now, we're like a proudly different AI company that's driven to maximizing the value of every customer interaction. That's what we're about, and a group of people who are just maniacally focused on delivering for our clients, delivering on for customers, delivering for delivering for even for social good, for some of the other things that we're doing. And from where we were, which was just a couple of guys in a cold beer garden, like just kind of talking about how I was a terrible writer and Sean tried to convince me to start this business, to where we are now. Like, yeah, it makes me emotional because we've come such a long way.
I think what's really interesting, just to add to that bit as well, and hats off to Mike Migliori for making it the 80-20-20 proposition for us, but we always had the 80-20 rule. We never wanted to be perfectionists. We never wanted to be the people who are driving 3-year massive multi-million transformational deals. We always knew our strength was an accelerator. We get you on the right path. We give you the tools, the experience, the skill set to get going, and we can let you pretty much get on the way. Too many projects and programs I've been involved in just my short career have been 10 years of this, multi-million pounds over budget, really costly, and we don't work that way, right? We have a methodology that is around the generate, accelerate, modulate. So we get in, we help you find and unlock that ROI as quick as we can, and we're talking 2 to 3 weeks. If it's not there, don't bother going after it. If we find an opportunity, how do we move into kind of that acceleration phase that goes, right, let's just kick the tires on it, let's do a bit of a hack, an MVP, let's unlock some value straight away, so you're getting ROI as quick as possible and almost self-fueling the business case as you go along. And then the modulate bit, which is probably going to be the most important over the next kind of 6 to 12 months for us, is then, okay, how do we sustain the results? How do we give you products that stand the test of times to make sure that you're always getting the benefit and the outcome that we set out to do? And unfortunately, most of the market don't work that way. It will be, there's a 3-year program. It has to work this way. It's very waterfall. It's very rigid. It's very governed and controlled. And that's the bit that's, I think, is putting people off. Budgets and controls are tighter than ever. We need to get away from that and get into a more of an agile, quick-paced delivery mechanism.
And exactly on that, with the industry being the way that it is, how do you see TMAC changing over the next 3 years, and how do you see it changing along with the potential change that needs to come with the rest of the industry to be more agile?
I think people are sick and tired of big IT deployments. I think that there's been a lot of technical debt that's been built up over the last 10 years, and some of that has been driven from clever SaaS companies and their sales teams. Some of it has been driven by protectionism from a client's point of view. Nobody gets sacked if they hire X, Y, and Z company to do the work. But I just see that the industry's changing. Margins are getting tighter. Like everybody's having to cut the cloth accordingly, and the last 10 years and the people who are now in those positions know that they don't have to spend ridiculous amounts of money procuring like very expensive pieces of kit, which eventually turn into Emperor's New Clothes projects. And so fundamentally, without even talking about like our products, like I always think our product is making our stakeholders look good and driving value for them. and doing that in an incremental way, which de-risks it. And I think that's what's changing, like the attitude towards these big IT projects, and we're effectively filling the market where it doesn't have to be like that. It can be de-risked. You can get all of the benefits that the 10-year payback gets you, but we'll just deploy it in a way which is flexible and risk-free.
It's an interesting question for me because I think that we're going through almost a second wave of what I'll talk about from the first wave. So the first wave of my career anyway, and I'm sure other people will have more experience than me on it, but most technology was in-house. It then shifted to outsourced because it was the cheapest, most cost-effective way. Now it feels like we're probably going to move back in sourced again because people want more control. Systems are more available, and whether it's in-sourced or outsourced, it doesn't really matter. I think for me it's like a hybrid model. Have the right people who are the subject matter expertise matched with the business owners who understand the business, and let them work together. It's not one or the other, they should work. And what's really interesting for me now is I think we're going to do the same thing with data science, where everyone's invested in data scientists. You know, some of the businesses we work with have got 100+ data scientists. It's going to become a farm of data scientists, which will become unproductive at some point with lots of tools. So what we'll do is we'll go, right, we're going to outsource it to all these data science companies who will be able to accelerate really quickly, but then lose touch with the business. And then we'll go, actually, let's bring all of that data science back in, you know, and we're all guilty of repeating that model time and time again. And I don't think there is a right and wrong. For me, it's a hybrid. Have your credible experts and your partners you can work with to get the right things done, mirrored with your business SMEs and understanding of what's right for your culture and your organization, and get the two to work together. And I think that's really important for us, how we're the accelerator piece, right? So we're a team of credible people who've got lots of experience in multiple industries, and in different parts, in contact centers or wherever you want to put us. You know, at the time when you need us, give us a call and we'll help you move it along. But we can also step away and let you guys crack on. So it's just that gel and that glue of kind of mixing, I think, will be really interesting. I'd love to see the industry go that way. Whether it does is another thing, though.
But what you were just saying there, that's exactly the point, isn't it? Like, we talk about human augmented AI, and we talk about the augmented human experience of delivering AI through contact center agents or to customers. But if you zoom out a little bit, like, our human augmented AI is not just throwing a bit of tech over the fence and then hoping it works and going, well, that's a SaaS model. There you go. You procured the tech, like, now it'll work. Because that's not how it works. That's not really how it works. Like, the augmentation that I think we provide is having, like, you know, guys like you, guys like Mike, guys like Mike Smith, who know how to land it and, like, know how to land the operational change. That's what I think makes us different.
So tell us a little bit more about what we can expect to see from TMAC coming up in the next year and 3 years.
Our journey over the first 3 years was really me, Sean, George, Ruse, like, finding our feet and testing things in the market and trying to get feedback iteratively, like what works and what doesn't work. And I think we've been very fortunate that we weren't under pressure necessarily in those days, other than the pressure that we put under ourselves to have all of the answers. But now I feel over the last 6 months, we, like, definitively, like, know what we want to do and know what we are as a business. And what we want to do is we want to maximize the value of every customer interaction, primarily in a contact center setting. And in order to do that, we've got 3 fantastic products that really enable those conversations. And so the first one of those products is Playbook, which is our next best action tool. What Playbook does is it enables, like, conversational guidance and also next best action when it comes to offer management. So it offers customers the right products at the right time, but also uses the right words for that customer. And that's very interesting as well, because that particular product we saw a flipping in the industry. So what happened was we used to all have paper-based scripts, anybody who worked in a contact center. Then we said, that's not the way to go about managing a customer. So get rid of those scripts. Now, when we're not going to have scripts, we're going to be free form. An agent can take accountability and ownership. The thing is, we then saw a lot of risk built into conversations, and we saw AHTs and handling times increase. And that's because a lot of agents have a lot of screens, a lot of things to manage. They're thinking about a lot of stuff. They're thinking about getting home and like looking after the kids, or like making dinner and stuff. And so what we wanted to do was we wanted to try and get the best of both worlds, where we can create a guided conversation that can be properly managed through the use of behavioral science and decision science, but also not be too rigid that it means that the agent can like divert from the script and feel accountability. So that's the first product that's launched. The second product that we've launched is probably the most interesting one. So Phonetic is our speech analytics platform, and that the genesis of that started, as Sean was saying, with us wanting to do speech analytics because we knew like how valuable like the speech data would be in customer conversations, in defining things like vulnerability, likelihood to complain, sentiment, but us being kind of blocked out of the market because most of the big players used to charge like a lot for proof of concepts. And even the up and coming companies like Amazon Transcribe or Google Speech to Text were prohibitively expensive. So we decided to build a platform that could be that was 80% cheaper than our rivals, but delivered much more value. And so Phonetic, Phonetic transcription was built in 2019 and has been rigorously tested over the course of the last 18 months. And we've just launched the Phonetic UI, which enables you to very quickly understand how your customers feel and what they say and how they react to certain things. And it does so 80% cheaper than our nearest competitor. And then finally, what Phonetic does at a transactional level, we're now launching a new coaching product. Now, when you look at transactional information, a contact center agent might get one transaction wrong, but what we want to do is we want to aggregate all of those transactions and put them into a system where a team leader or an ops manager or even a self-motivated contact center agent can look at their performance and self-improve, drive their performance up through different quintiles, and a system that makes every single agent a top performer. We think that this product as well is particularly pertinent in the current environment during COVID, where the line of sight has been lost for contact center managers, and the ability to self-manage will be a more important facet for a home-based contact center worker. And so Coach is a very new product, a very light product. It's something that we've tested with some of our clients before and got great results, but really augments the experience that we've now have 3 products. One of the products tells you what to say to customers and how to say it. One product monitors what you're saying and looks at the sentiment and friction points. And then the final product, when you need some support and you need to get better at certain things, it alerts you and it tells you what to be better at.
So I think Jimmy probably just talked on pretty much where we are right now, with all those exciting products coming to market and in market now. I think as we start looking forward from that as well, each product individually adds massive value. You know, the tools, I've worked in contact centers all my life, they are really powerful tools in terms of doing what they need to do. I think what we're really excited for as a team as well is then how you bring that together, and we kind of base it on kind of a three pillar approach. You listen using Phonetic, you act using Playbook, and then you learn through using coaching. And I think that listen, act, learn model is bread and butter stuff for every single contact center, which our products will absolutely hit a sweet spot to help them deliver kind of over the next 6 to 12 months. I think what it also does, it gives you the full loop. So what are my customers saying? What are my agents doing? How do you kind of fix all of those things together as well, which are really, really important. One of the biggest challenges that I think the industry faces over probably 12 months plus, well, today and 12 months plus, which I think we're really excited for as a team, by taking these products, how do we then kind of bridge the gap between human, augmented, and digital? I think what one of the biggest challenges I see right now in lots of industries is everyone's going from human to digital, and it just doesn't work because you're not taking the right steps and understanding the right thing. So how do you use Phonetic to really understand why customers are calling, understand the intent in what they're calling, get to the detail of multiple interactions? Contact centers are very linear. You called about cancellation, you called about payments, you called about this thing, but that's not reality. Customers talk to you about multiple things all of the time, and we don't capture that rich information. Phonetic will help unlock a lot of that. When we start talking about playbook, becoming more structured, having more contextual conversations, again, what we're doing is using our humans and our colleagues to train chatbots. So if we can get the flow working perfectly in terms of this is what the customer wants, this is how you handle it, then that helps bridge the gap between human and digital. Because actually then you're going, this process works, we get it right because we're listening to it using Phonetic 99.9% of the time. Okay, well, how do I move that into a digital environment to help customers self-serve? And again, even the coaching model to an extent, digital doesn't just work. You need people, you need processes, you need robots. How do you take the coaching platform to make sure, again, that your robots are always performing, you're having the right success rates in terms of what you're doing and how you're doing it? So coming from a digital transformation background, genuinely believe these products help fix the problem right now, in terms of where we are, but they will also start unlocking a whole load of opportunity for our clients and customers in the next 6, 12 months time.
I care about people, and that journey that companies are trying to go on right now, which is our contact center is a cost center and we need to strip out the costs, so we're going to go straight to chatbot. First of all, I think it just completely disregards the value of those conversations that they're having. So if we see contact centers, service contact centers, as profit centers, they're just not being used correctly, and our tools will enable our clients and new companies see their contact center in a completely different light. And the second thing is, because companies aren't seeing them as profit centers, they're seeing them as cost centers. They could be moving transactions to digital that they shouldn't be moving. And I think they're building up a lot of attrition risk in the customer base because they think some things can be automated that just shouldn't be. When people really, really, really want support, they want to speak to another person.
So it's been really interesting to hear about the journey from where you started to now, and what's coming up in the future. What advice would you give to someone who's thinking of starting their own journey and founding a company?
My advice, I get emotional about this, but surrounding yourself with really, really great people who are empathetic, and people who you want to go on the journey with is the most important part. So when you're in a startup mode, as we are still, it's bumpy, it's very, very turbulent, and you have to be able to kind of look to your left and look to your right, and know that you're on a journey with people who really, really understand you as a person and who will stand up for you and be on the journey with you. And I don't know how some people do this sort of stuff alone. And I'm really fortunate that I look around me and I've got all of these great people who I'm working with. So I would say don't do it alone. It's not as fun doing it alone. Might be more fun in the end when you've got your yacht in the Bahamas. But for me, it's about the journey and going on that journey with a great group of people.
I'd say there's probably 3 things for me. Have a plan. You always need a plan, right? The plan might not always work, but have a plan and know that you're heading towards this sort of direction. it might go like that. It won't be a straight line, trust me, but know where you're trying to get to, even if it's short-term goals, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, but also have kind of a broader vision of where the company sees itself in 3 and 5 years. I think is really important. To Jimmy's point, have a team of dedicated and passionate people around you. You can't do it on your own. The people are so important to everything you're trying to do. And again, looking forward to seeing, we've done a lot of growth over the last 12 months now, how, we can impact more clients and customers and deliver more outcomes than ever before with a super team with us. And the third one is you just got to work hard. It's just, it's not easy. It's a simple, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. But understand your plan, have a great team around you, and just work hard would be my advice.
Well, thanks so much for joining me today, guys. And I think I speak for everyone when I say we look forward to the next 3 years. I'll see you in the Bahamas.